Good afternoon, and very good afternoon. How are you? I hope things are going great. 2022, halfway done, and we are moving towards the end of the year. Things are, for some people, the business is really good. For most of the people, things are really tough. Yep, ask me how, how things are difficult. Well, today's topic is about black and white. And it's a question I received today morning. I was on Facebook Live the other day, and it was on the Facebook Live. I was basically trying to give this idea that what images meant to be chosen for black and white, and what images you should avoid. Now it's totally subjective. Like for some people, images just turn any image, color image into black and white by desaturating and just increase a little bit contrast and exposure done. It's not like that. It's not what I think the black and white photography should be done. Not every image should be done black and white because black and white image is all about carrying that feeling into the image which makes you say wow, like wow, which makes you attract because colors, human mind attracts towards the color. Like you were just seeing this red shirt or maroon or whatever the color it is, you attract towards it, and you find this color. Some people find good, some people find okay. Or if I would be getting neon yellow shirt, that will be more, eye popping, and and you would immediately notice that. So human mind attracts towards color. But what if we remove the color from the image? Then what happened? Then how we manage things. This is what we are going to discuss now. See, the thing is, human mind basically, or the way we see the images, or the way we see like or dislike images, highly depend on how our past life is. Yeah, that's true. You're not gonna, no, I don't think so. Any YouTube channel or any source of information about photography going to tell you this fact, but trust me, the way you have lived your life so far impacts a whole lot of the photos that you are going to see, you're going to like or dislike. That impacts a whole lot. Like I said, liking of black and white photography, like any particular image you like or not, is totally subjective. But how to choose? For some people, any image could be turned into black and white by desaturating and increase the contrast, a little bit exposure, and we are done. But that's this is this is not the way the black and white photography should done. Black and white photography, like I said, a human mind attracts towards the color. But once you take out the color from the image, then what happened? Then there is no attraction left into the image. For example, I'm going to show you some images on the screen right now. First, the color image, and then the black and white image. So you will see some see them. Now you decide by yourself that these seaside images should look good in color, or you should look good in black and white. Now I'm giving you these both same image, color and black and white again. See by yourself. First the color, and the next is black and white. Alright? Now you see both side by side, and you decide by yourself where the human mind immediately attracts. Obviously you will like color. That's how it is. Sunrise, beautiful sky, and stuff like that. But what if I tell you, but before I tell you something, This is the psychology of human mind, because human mind attracts towards the color. So whenever you go to the seaside, yeah, there's a sunset going on. There is a beautiful clouds. People are, walking on the seaside. All these brings the ambience which attracts human mind. So basically, the color is mandatory when you are shooting seascape or you are shooting at the seaside. This is what my point right now is trying to say. So most importantly, if you are taking an image, you want it to black and white, so try to avoid taking black and white image of the seaside. But again, we are here to break the rules. It's not mandatory all the time. I said on that Facebook live session that you should avoid doing black and white for the seaside image, because seaside is basically talking about sunset, color, hues, golden hour, blue hour, and all that. So it drives human mind. So you should not do black and white those images, right? But I break the rule. Yesterday I uploaded the image of the seaside and it was black and white. I broke the rule. And I immediately got a question that, sir, you said that the seaside image should be in color, but you uploaded the black and white. Why is that? Now this is where I decided to make this video. So you should understand that in order to break the rule, you must know how to break it. The image that I uploaded yesterday was this, as you're going to see on the screen right now. Okay, in this image, there is no color. It's all about composition, and the boy is walking. I was at Karachi, seaside, and I was invited by a bunch of people, and we were standing and doing photo walk, and this boy was passing, and I saw something immediately. I was like, tack, 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 tack. I shot like 7-8 frames. The reason for I shoot 7-8 frames was like, I want to have the perfect walking step on the seaside, so I get the perfect reflection. This is what my agenda was, which fortunately I got it. And it was due to the sun into the image was turned out to be overexposed. Now, once you have an overexposed image, obviously we can lower down the exposure, trying to bring out the details. Fine, I could have done that, but I felt that if I turn this image into black and white, and the composition was already perfect, so I can make a compelling black and white image. It will stand out by its own. I don't have to worry much about, because all the elements which we need for a black and white are there. So so what are those elements? Number one, composition. Number two, silhouette. Silhouette looks good in black and white. It was there in the image. Number three, texture. The waves of the sea were creating that texture which was across the frame in this horizontal. See that again. And the foreground, which was the reflecting land and the sky, they were identical in exposure. So for me, the central part of the frame and the boy with the reflection, that only left. And there was no presence of color required for them to make them out, stand out. And the composition was already longer focal length, so there is no wide angle shot. This was not a wide angle shot. So in wide angle shot, which was used, as you've seen previously, which I showed example black and white and color, if you look at shot again, it was taken wide angle, so environment was there, foreground, colorful stones, and sky, and all that. So it was wide angle shot, too much was happening in the frame. In this black and white frame, I was already on a longer focal length. So I was narrowing down my view in such a way that you can only look at the center of the frame, not above, not down, not left, not right, right at the center of the frame. So I restrict your view by my composition, and I further add, because I felt that the color will not make that image stand out. But if I convert that image into black and white, this image will going to survive. This image will going to please the viewer's eyes. Unlike the previous example where I showed you. Again, in order to break the rule, you must know how to break it. Not just randomly, you just convert any image into black and white. Now, I just said a minute ago about the things like the elements which you need to convert in the black and white. For example, but before I said that, before I share with you those points, there's a thing which I heard from one of the famous photographers, and he said, simplicity is divinity. I repeat, simplicity is divinity. It means that the more simple, the more simplified your frame is going to be, the more pleasing it's going to be. Color introduces chaos. Colors and silhouette, they are opposite to each other in the spectrum of photography. I repeat, colors and silhouette, they are totally opposite to each other, 180 degree. You cannot have color image silhouette. If you have silhouette, turn it into minimum color and that image will going to stand out. It's just like you have light, you have shadows, and you are taking care of things, and they are balancing the image. Just the same way, silhouettes and colors, they are opposite to each other and they cannot, you cannot have them together in a frame and expect the results to turn out to be good. That's what I said earlier. Images like birds, beautiful birds, animals, landscape, greenery, lush green, stones and mountains, lakes, cityscapes. Like if you are standing on top of 40-50 story high building and try to capture from the roof of that building a beautiful cityscape, you really think that black and white is going to work? I don't think so. Try it. Convince me if you're able to find a good cityscape rooftop image in black and white which stands more than the color version. Probably you won't find any such example. Because cityscape requires color, it will attract the human mind. That city is beautiful, it carries so many colors. The building, the road, the sky. If you are shooting sunset, around sunset time. So unless you go very long focal length. I saw one photographer, he works for Porsche. He shoot a lot of Porsche car, Porsche race, and he's a Canon shooter, and I really admire his work. So most of his shots, if it's black and white, mostly are with longer focal length. So focal length also plays a very important character to tell you whether you should go with color or black and white. And the example that I've showed so far of myself, I was in wide angle, I was in color. The black and white was longer focal length, and both are for the seaside. So again, that Canon shooter which shoots for Porsche, his black and white shots are really outstanding, but most of them are with longer focal length. So your mind are not distracting with left and right with colors. You're just only focusing on the main subject. Less distraction. Black and white photography is all about less distraction. Color introduce distraction. And in this way, when I was watching that guy one, I was like, man, he's doing a sports section and his black and white works really good. How come? Then I was studying, and then I noticed few things. Composition, choice of focal length, and contrast. He used these things into sports action. There is no texture, there is no repeating pattern, which mostly we use as a shortcut to make any black and white image good. That guy was not carrying anything like that. No texture, no repeating patterns, and still he was able to get a good black and white image. How come? He used focal length, he used he just narrowed down everything to simplify the frame as much as he can. I try to find his work and put some example in the video with credit of course, but if I'm not going to do it, then please I try to use my example instead. So choosing what image should be black and white, what should not be in black and white, it's very difficult. Sean Archer. Okay, yeah, Sean Archer. Sean Archer? No. What is his name? I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Not Sean Archer. Sean Archer is the famous portrait photographer. Sean something. Sean Tucker. Yeah, Sean Tucker. Yeah, that was his name. And his work is so amazing and it's very simplified. Again, because of the simplicity, his black and white images stands out. We have a few good local names from my country. Fakhri Khalid Parvez, also known as FKP. Ammara Nawaz Khan. She is very good in creating black and white images. You will find a lot of texture, lot of repeating patterns, and lots of simplified framing into her work. Fakhri Khalid Parvez, he's a young guy. He's very young, but his eye towards the black and white photography, it's so great. His subject, it's so great. You know, he chose a lot of architecture stuff to shoot in black and white. Again, architecture, you can shoot architecture in black and white easily. Long exposures, easily into black and white. Architecture is one of those genre where the both color and black and white looks equally good as long as your composition, light, shadows, and it stands, proportionally blended together to make your image stands out. Architecture is one of those genre, but sports, action, wildlife, not much look good in color unless you choose a focal length which eliminates the color factor and only focuses only on the main subject. So if you watch the FKP work or Mara work, they both carry different approaches towards black and white photography, but both of their work stand out by their own, you know. And I found it really fascinating that how they selected the subject and they make them stands out. So again, if I sum down everything, that what images should we go with color, what images we should go with black and white, it's very difficult. Reason is everything is subjective. For many people, if I like a black and white image, maybe you're not going to like it because my mind was trained, and in a way that I felt that for me, I like to have everything simple. Everything simple. And I need subject which stands out by their own. I don't have to worry about to balancing the subject to make it stand out. And why I went against my suggestion, which I said on Facebook Live, that if you are at the seaside, try to shoot in color because the color looks good. The sea needs good color hues, golden hour, blue hour, they looks good, and human mind attracts towards those colors. That's why you need that thing. You need to convert seaside color or seaside images into color. But I did totally against, and I got this question in the morning that why you did that. You went against what you suggest. And for me, again, it's a very long process to selecting the subject or to selecting or deciding which image should I go with black and white. I cannot tell everything in this video, but I tried to give you that summary. Yeah, people do black and white like texture, repeating patterns, simplified framing, or anything which make images stands out. But very less people, very less people focuses on the composition, the lights, the shadows. Most people don't like shadows. I do. I cannot live without shadow in my images. I need shadow to create the story, to create the depth, to create the drama, to create something to make your eyes glued to my images. And example which I uploaded yesterday, I used silhouette to make your image stick, to make your eyes stick to my image. Yep. So again, it's subjective. Now, street photography. Street photography, all of them, most of them, black and white looks good. Really good. Especially when you are 3 p.m., 5 p.m. evening, the rays, sun is down at the horizon and casting a long shadows on the road. That's where you find subjects interesting enough to capture and make compelling black and white image. Those shadows on the street adds value. Street photography contains architecture, which I already explained looks really good in black and white. Human elements adds value into that image. In architecture environment looks good in black and white. So, and it eliminating the color factor, but it doesn't mean that in street photography you always have to go with black and white. I have two extreme examples of street photography. One is black and white, which is Henry Carter Burson, and another one is Ernst Haas. Ernst Haas is my all-time favorite street photographer, and his work it's mostly color. And man, both of them are extremely talented. Both of them made their names. Henry Carter Burson was famous for his black and white street photos. Ernst Haas is famous for his color photos. But the way they handle things, it's extraordinary. So, like I said, there is no recipe. There is no. You have to do a lot of practice. You have to do a lot of study, and then you're able to find what image looks better for you in black and white. Does your black and white image carries a story? My image, which I uploaded yesterday night, carries a story, like a human element with a very simplified framing, less distraction, no color. You only focus on the subject. That's why I made, and my that image went totally against on the earlier suggestion, because of course it was seaside, but seaside looks good in color, isn't it? We all love seaside in evening time, beautiful colors. So why I made that particular image of mine in black and white? Because it was not look good in color. It wasn't. For me, it wasn't. So that's why I decided to go black and white. I hope you like this video, because there is no perfect formula, to be very honest. There is no. I cannot tell you that just follow these steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you are good to go with black and white photography. You can choose any image, you convert it, and you're good to go. You know, I found it fascinating, and one of the photographer from Pakistan, he caught my this shortcut. When I was beginning of my career of photography, a few images were overexposed, and I accidentally turned into black and white, and I found them very fascinating, attractive enough, and I uploaded. So that photographer immediately caught. He said, "You shot overexposed image, right?" And I was like, "Yep." That's why you converted into black and white. Yep, that's what I did. So what people do, if you have an overexposed image, turn into black and white, and in this way you can save that image. Because when you do an overexposed image, most of the things turn out to be silhouette or darker. That's where it goes totally against the color. Like I said, colors are totally stand against the silhouettes. They are totally opposite to each other. We have to go through of these all these examples in order to learn, and I hope you will find something to learn from this video, to apply into your work and get the best out from it. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in future with some new stuff. Till then, take care. Bye.